Hey guys, Mr. Riz here, and I'm here to help you out on the last part of our circle packet here, which is going through and finding the center and radius of complex equations. So these are going to be equations that we don't just have a regular x squared, or it's not already factored for us, where we have equations where the whole process has gone through. So what I would recommend doing, it is not a bad thing to do, is maybe going through and opening up Desmos and using that to help us out. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to type this equation in, and we can kind of cheat, but then we're going to go through and do the work, because on the test we would have to do the work as well. All right, so we got y squared plus 24x plus 10y plus 160 equals 0. So, okay, what we can do is we can type this on Desmos and we can get the graph. Now, the graph doesn't tell us the center, but it does tell us some points here, and it tells us kind of where it's located. We probably could go through, find the center of this graph and find the radius of it really quickly, but we're going to go through this process here because this process, we won't be able to do that same trick when we get to ellipses. Okay, so here's the process, what we want to do. It's not too bad. It's like when we did parabolas here. It's kind of complicated, but you do this a couple times, it's not too bad. So the first thing we want to do is group the x's and y's together. So you can see we have this x squared and this 24x. We're going to put them together. And then we have a y squared and the 10y, and we're going to put that together. And then anything that we don't have, we're going to move over to the other side. So that's why the 160 here goes over to the minus 160. Then what we're going to do is we're going to complete the square 2 times, okay? Now, on this side here, we're going to complete the square. So we need to figure out, okay, x squared plus 24x plus blank. And so we have another blank over on the opposite side to be equal work. Remember, when it comes to completing the square, you can add something on one side and subtract it on the same side. Or if you add something on one side, you got to add that same number on the other side. Now, to complete the square, remember, it is that middle number divided by 2 squared. Okay, so let's do that here. Let's find these blanks here. So what's 24 divided by 2? That's 12. 12 squared is 144. So we're going to add 144 there. We'll add 144 there. We're going to do the same thing over here with the y's. All right, 10y cut in half is 5y. 5 squared is 25. So we're going to put a 25 there and a 25 there. All right, next step, it says factor each set of parentheses. So remember, to factor it, we just take the x, cut it in half, keep that symbol the same, so that's plus, and then cut that middle number in half. So we get x plus 12 squared. And then over here, we got y. We'll keep the middle symbol the same, plus, and cut that number in half, 5. All right. And then we need to simplify the right side. So in a calculator, or do some work here, what's negative 160 plus 144 plus 25? And that should end up being just 9. Okay. Well, now that we got that here, we can go through and see that our equation, our center, is at what's being subtracted from the x. That'd be at a negative 12. What's being subtracted from the 5, or the y, is a negative 5. And what's the center? What's the square root of that number? That would be 3. What we want to do now is let's kind of double check this on Desmos. I'm going to leave this work up, so it's going to be a little bit messy. But if we type in the equation we think we have, x plus 12 squared plus y plus 5 squared, and then we put equals 9. Our circle went exactly right on top of that other circle. That's how we know we did it right, because we didn't change the circle at all. We didn't change the equation. We just changed the way that it looks. All right, so use Desmos to help us out. All righty, so if you guys want to try this one on your own, you can. If not, it's going to be a little bit tricky. Okay, so let's run through this one here. How do we find the center and, you know, everything like that? What's the equation of this circle when it's complicated? So let's group them together first. Let's put the x's together. We got 4x squared minus 16x. And let's then do the y's. All right, plus 4y squared minus 24y. And then equals, we're going to move this guy over to the other side, equals negative 51. Okay, so if you look at this problem, this one's a little bit different because we have a number in front of the x. you ever have a number in front of the x, it's going to be the same number in front of the y squared in a circle. If it isn't, then it's not a circle. But what we got to do is we got to get that a plain old x. So in order to do that, we're going to have to divide every single number by that. We're going to divide everything by 4. Okay, so if we divide that by 4, okay, that just becomes x squared. And then minus 16 divided by 4 is 4x. Let's put the blank here because we're going to complete the square. All right, then plus, all right, y squared divided by 4, or that'd just be y squared. Negative 24 divided by 4, that's negative 6. Let's put a blank here. And then equals, we actually have to do this. Now, 51 does not divide by 4, but we're going to put that in here. 51 divided by 4, and we get negative 12.75. Let's see. Okay. And we're going to put our 2 blanks from before. Now, we have a decimal here. Don't freak out. This should work out nicely. Okay, so let's go through now, find our blanks. To find our blank, we take the middle number, cut it in half, and then square it. 4 cut in half is 2, 2 squared is 4. Okay, so we'll put a 4 here and a 4 there. All right, do the same thing with the other number. All right, so 6 cut in half is 3. 3 squared is 9. So we'll put a 9 there and a 9 there. All right, let's simplify this. So this would be x, symbol in the middle the same, symbol in the middle the same, and the number in the middle cut in half, 2. So we got x minus 2 squared plus, all right, y, middle symbol the same, minus, middle number cut in half, 3 squared. And then equals, okay, what is this number here? What's negative 12.75? And then plus 4 plus 9. That would be just 0.25. Okay, kind of weird, but it's going to be okay. Because if we think about this here, the center would have to be at what's being subtracted from the x is 2, what's being subtracted from the y, 3. And then the radius is the square root of that. And what's the square root of 0.25? That actually comes out nice. That is just 0.5. Okay, so let's go through. I'm going to kind of clear this up a little bit here. Actually, a little bit more I can highlight. And use Desmos to kind of trick or use it to our advantage here. So let's see. Try to pull up Desmos up at the same time. Hey, there's some skateboard podcasts I was listening to. All right, so let's type in the original graph. Okay, so 4x squared plus 4y squared minus 16x minus 24y plus 51 equals 0. Don't even see it. Okay, so that's a small circle. That's a good sign. Let's type in our equation. X minus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 0.25. Okay, that circle landed right on top of that other circle. And if we look at that here, that center looks to be right at between 2 and 3. So 2, 3. And then it is only about a half a unit long, right? So the radius would be 1/2. Okay, so that's how we do it. So if you take a look at your homework problems tonight, let's go ahead and do that. That should be right here. All you have to do is the one complete the square. We go ahead and preview that here right now. We can see, all right, so just like what we're going to do, you're going to group the x's and y's together. You're probably going to have to move this x over to the other side. Make this an x squared. We have plus 4x. And then the y squared. And then minus 2y. And then move that 20 over to the other side. Okay. Put your blanks in and complete those out. All right, same thing here. Oh, actually, no, it's the same problem. Once you get the equation, you want to identify the center and the radius. All right, so problems 3 and 4 work together the same way too. You're going to move everything around. So line it up. Okay, we got x here and the x on the right side. So, okay, x squared minus 8x. Okay, and then our y squared. And then we got minus 6y on that side. And the only thing we got to do is move that 16 over here equals negative 16. So you'll have to put in your blanks, figure out what the equation is. Then once you have the equation, go through on problem 4, tell me the center and the radius of it. All right, guys, hopefully so that's not too bad. You guys can handle those things. And we will be wrapping up circles. So right after this, you guys have your homework quiz that you guys will go over. You should be all right with. All right, guys, have a good one. I'll see you next time.